Thank you, Madam President and trustees. This is really an update in two parts, in that City Manager Lazarus really shared with you from the city's perspective, and then I just wanted to follow up. I have for you, trustees, and I apologize, I just need to get those out. I have for you as a reminder the update that you last saw in December, and then today's update with changes color-coded. So you can kind of see what has happened between, I think it was December 7th when we last talked about this at a board meeting, and until now. Mr. Cluley has been out and about in the city taking photos of these items, because I feel like, City Manager Lazarus is an engineer and he uses the language, but I always love for you to be able to just see the pictures. We really are anchoring this work, trustees, in three legs of the stool. The first leg is what Howard Lazarus spoke to us tonight about, coordinating with the city to get the work done around our schools. This would be the signs, the crosswalks, the flashers, the street lighting, the school zones, and the reduced speeds. So that's important. The second leg of the school is coordinating the safe routes to school work, which is a big project, of course, on its own. And then the third leg of the stool is the education campaign, educating our students, our parents, and our community so that they're more mindful. So what have we accomplished in the last few months that we've really been focused on this work? As you know, we've worked with city to install reduced speed zone school zones at the AAPS priority locations that were designated, as you recall, trustees, back in November, and that is at Huron, Pathways, Pioneer, and Tappan. Those are schools that were along kind of major arteries, and we wanted to get at those speeds first. You'll notice these orange flags sticking out of the top of the signs. That's supposed to help folks to remember that we now, have reduced speed zones in the area. We've met regularly on the Transportation Safety Committee, and I appreciate that Trustee Gaynor is your representative on that committee, as well as members of City Council, members of the school team, and members of the city team. We've met regularly over these months. I'm very proud that both the city manager and the superintendent have been in attendance at those meetings. So they do the detail work, and we're there to support and uphold with decision making if it's needed. We appreciate also the partnership of community organizations. So we have about 4 or 5 distinctive organizations that have been a part of this work and have been engaged with us, including A2 Safe Transport, Michigan Safe Kids, our PTO council members, and a variety of community members that help us, including Kathy Griswold, who's a regular attendee. We appreciate that we actually have what are called the RRFBs, the rectangular rapid flashing beacons at Huron High School, and also the extension of the sidewalk along Fuller. Howard Lazarus spoke to that so that our students can be on the sidewalk and not feel like they have to step out into the street area. And that sidewalk is scheduled to be completed. That is coming up in the fall of 17. It's quite an extensive amount of sidewalk, so that's coming up soon. They have installed overhead lighting enhancements at the Fuller near Huron High School. Also, we will continue to work with the city as we incorporate. You recall that A2 Safe Transport sent out a survey. We have literally hundreds of intersections and corners that our parents have offered to us as areas of concern. And the way City Manager Lazarus addresses that with his city team and I with my school team, we'll continue to integrate those areas into the work as we're moving forward. In bucket number 2, the second leg of the stool is safe routes to school. We will continue, and our PK-12 executive directors will be working with their principals over the coming weeks and months to really see where our schools are in their safe routes to school processes. Now, some schools, A2 STEAM and Clegg are 2 examples that have just done the whole project. Other schools are just getting started. Some schools, I could name a few, have done this work, but it's been a little while. So it's time to go back and refresh the work. So our goal is that every school will be doing work in that process. Certainly we're not able to say that every school will finish that work within a certain period of time because folks are at different points along the way. We are excited about A2 STEAM because they have come out of the gate and are currently, in fact, recently had their meeting where Safe Routes to School Committee and the Safe Routes team from Michigan State University finished their 3rd phase to finalize their action plan to obtain funding for street and sidewalk infrastructure enhancements. So this money will come from MDOT, and they are expected to receive up to $400,000. So this is a good amount of money for off-campus infrastructure improvements, and we've been working on what those could be. They have. And then also they get as much as $16,000 for education of the school community. So they'll be able to work on the walking school buses to school and the other endeavors. And in fact, we should have included pictures today. Mr. Gaynor sent me, and I saw some on Twitter, of the Clegg event, bike and walk to school today. So that was very timely, right on the day that we're chatting about this. So A2 STEAM will serve, along with Clegg, as models of how to get that work done. And we know that it is indeed an immense amount of work. It does take community involvement, staff involvement, and it takes time to do it properly, but we're excited that that work will be moving forward. That's the second leg of the stool of this plan. Our third component is really about the education campaign, and Mr. Lazarus previewed that. It's called A2B Safe. And so we are working with that. Mr. Cluley actually worked right along with members of the city team in developing and getting that partly launched. We'll be working with our principals over the coming weeks so that as we come back to school in the fall, trustees, you will see a real focus on back to school education emphasis efforts, the efforts around wearing brighter clothing, about wearing reflective devices, even on that dark backpack to have a reflective device there so that our students are safe from portal to portal. Our education efforts will include efforts like Clegg did today on those walking and biking to school days, the walking bus events, those kinds of things. I know Ms. Bacalor, her community and student wellness groups will be coordinating and lending their support on this citywide effort. Mr. Lazarus didn't share it tonight, but another big endeavor of this is visiting with all of the major employers in town to ask them to partner with us because they are responsible for a number of the 85,000 commuters who drive into Ann Arbor every day, and we want their partnership and help in following the safety guidelines so that our students are safe on the roads. So I know, trustees, that you are keenly aware that our primary mission is teaching and learning. But even before teaching and learning, our absolute top priority is keeping our children safe and doing everything in our power to ensure that they are safe from portal to portal, from dawn till dark, from the time they leave their home in the morning to the time they return from school. And so that concludes our update. I do want to share, trustees, we've done an awful lot of work and many, many hands are in this endeavor. It's possible I left some important things out tonight, but we sure tried to update you on many of the kinds of efforts that are moving forward. And I look forward, I'm going to try to double team on Monday evening to be with both the chamber and with, both with City Council and with PTO Council on Monday evening so that they feel that same engagement from us back to them that we had tonight with City Manager Lazarus. So I thank you for that opportunity to share. Thank you.